Hi, I'm Faria from Global Learning London. Welcome to the module on storytelling. This section will explore storytelling through different forms of art, where we'll show you how to do a grounding exercise from a Global Learning London project called You, Me, Story. This grounding exercise will help prepare your students through a breathing and imagining short exercise. We'll then move on to storytelling through play. Play can be such a powerful way to discuss and dissect very complex ideas and themes, especially with young people. Finally, we'll look at storytelling through the medium of spoken word. Spoken word is a form of poetry performance, and this equips young people with the knowledge of how to compose a poem, and then gives tips on how to hold your body, voice, and tone to engage your audience. We hope you enjoyed this module and the resources attached. Good luck. Now we will be doing a grounding exercise. The learning objectives of this grounding exercise is to recognize the many ways in which we are all unique. And it also is an activity that will help participants to arrive in the space and settle into the group. It helps them to focus inward on themselves in preparation for a discussion on identity. The facilitator will read the next slide in total. You can ask your students to sit down on the floor or in a circle, or they can stay wherever they are. Let's take a moment for ourselves. If you are comfortable, close your eyes or look down. Take 10 deep breaths. And while your students are taking their 10 deep breaths, the facilitator will read aloud. There are 7 billion people on the planet today. There have been 100 billion people alive throughout history on this planet, in this universe. 1 billion is 1,000 millions. Each and every one of those 100 billion people is unique, each individual. Each and every one has had different life experiences, different thoughts and ideas, different things that make them laugh, different dreams for their future. Even when we have many things in common with the 100 billion people who have lived on this planet throughout history, there are immense possibilities of human variation. Think about it. There's never been and never will be another you. Your time on this planet and the experiences you will have will be unique to you. You're not 1 in a million. You're 1 in 100 billion. This grounding exercise has been taken from a wonderful project called You, Me, Story that Global Learning London have been working on. Here is a bit more information about the project, where we've worked with non-binary creatives, Emilia and Alex, and have worked in partnership with other organizations as well to bring this learning to the classroom. You can check out our guide on the website link below. Thank you. Storytelling through play. Welcome to Storytelling Through Play presentation. In this video, we'll talk you through how you can have an interesting session with your students to deconstruct and reconstruct characters from a story through discussion and play. The examples we'll use will be most relevant for primary school age children. However, the activities and choice of story will make this more relevant to older students. The key element of the activity is choosing the right story with more than one character. Think about the subject areas that you're focusing on this term. What stories are you planning to look at? Is there a diversity of characters in this book? And what are the problems the characters are facing? Are there also peripheral characters in the story who can also be discussed? Here are some examples of quite diverse stories that you can use with your students, from a range of authors and looking at very different subject areas. What will you need? Here are just a few examples of what you could use for this activity. The key thing to remember is that we want students to be able to express themselves through playing and creating. So think about bringing along scissors, cardboard, boxes, paints, jars, buttons, shells, plasticine, modeling clay. These are great things to get students to use their hands in order to create new things. This story that we'll be looking at is called There's a Orangutan in My Bedroom. We're going to watch the video right now.
There's a orangutan in my bedroom and I don't know what to do. She plays with all my teddies and keeps borrowing my shoe. She destroys all of my houseplants and she keeps on shouting, ooh. She throws away my chocolate and she howls at my shampoo. There's a orangutan in my bedroom and I don't want her to stay. So I told the naughty orangutan that she had to go away. Orangutan in my bedroom, just before you go, why were you in my bedroom? I really want to know. There's a human in my forest and I don't know what to do. He destroyed all of our trees for your food and your shampoo. There's a human in my forest and I don't know what to do. He took away my mother and I'm scared he'll take me too. There are humans in my forest and I don't know what to do. They're burning it for palm oil. So I thought I'd stay with you. Orangutan in my bedroom, now I do know what to do. I'll fight to save your home and I'll stop you feeling blue. I'll share your story far and wide so others can fight too. Orangutan in my bedroom, I swear it on the stars. The future's not yet written, but I'll make sure it is ours.
So with this story comes the ideas of responsibility, global interconnectedness, and activism. And we're going to focus on this story as it's a great one for students to see themselves within because of the impact of our actions on the orangutan in the story. And also to consider who's missing in this story and what would they have to say. Feel free to share this video with your students as well. Through group discussions, let's start by thinking about where this story is set and when is this story happening. It's important for students to understand that this is happening today and the impact it's having on the planet. This is a small picture from the actual book that shows the setting right at the beginning of the story. Each group can focus on a different character. There are two main characters in this story, and your class can start by analysing these two characters. Who are they? What are their individual stories and context? What do they look like, sound like? Who else is in this story? Once your students have been able to have some time in sort of exploring the two main characters and thinking about the different elements of their stories, you could start thinking and putting the characters back into context of the wider story and discuss how the characters interact with each other. This part of the activity will help students to delve deeper into their character and go beyond what's stated in the story. The orangutan mentions that there's a human in my forest. Who is this human and what do they look like? The books used silhouettes to feature these humans. How would you describe these humans? Divide your class into groups, looking at the world through the eyes of the orangutan. Each group will have a different sense to think about and use their materials to create. You can repeat these questions and groups from the perspective of another character in the story. So what does the orangutan see, smell, touch? What can she taste in the air? What can she hear? And how do you think she feels? What is she thinking? And why has she gone to the girl for help? Your students can explore these different questions when thinking about the orangutan, and also can apply similar questions when thinking about the young girl in the story, or even these humans in the forest. The orangutan in the story, when we first encounter her, we see her from the perspective of the young girl. How is the orangutan described? She seems angry and frustrated, and the readers are in the same position as the child in not understanding why the orangutan is behaving like this. How does our perspective change when we start to hear the orangutan story? Now do we recognize her fear and sadness? How does the story shift when it goes back to the young girl? That's when there's hope and activism to create change. And how do you think the orangutan then feels? And how does the girl feel? And what about the humans in the forest? So thinking about the character journeys within this story is a great way of students to recognize that each story, both ourselves and for the characters, will have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And thinking about what that journey might look like and what it might feel like is really key to the next stage of this activity. Start using and recreating using your hands and through play. So this part of the activity will follow on from the character deconstruction. Ask students in their groups to think about the key themes that present themselves in the wider story and how their character fits into this. How do the key themes engage with their character? What is the issue or problem that their character is facing? Can your students imagine a road or a series of decisions that will help their character navigate through the issue that they're facing? Now using modeling clay, plasticine or Play-Doh, or whatever materials that you have to use, ask students to reimagine this journey by creating and shaping their materials into a representation of that journey. Is there a color or a shape that represents their character and the character's struggle? What does their journey look like? Is it turbulent? Is it calm? Is it hopeful? This will help students to analyze and use visual props to tell their character's story and context, and to better understand the context of other characters in the story too. Students can then present what they have created to the rest of the class and discuss how the characters connect with each other. Has anything changed in how students first saw each character? What questions would they like to ask the group who focused on the little girl in the story, for example? Or the group that focused on the orangutan? What questions would students like to ask to the group that focused on the orangutan? As this story ends with a call to action, as educators, we can create an action project with our students, which focus on raising awareness within the school or even beyond, and can be focused on palm oil. This could be a letter writing session, which encourages students to write to their local MP or supermarket, or a school campaign, which encourages the school community to learn more about sustainable palm oil. The websites attached will help you to learn more about palm oil and how you can bring it into your classroom. Thank you very much. Enjoy.
Poetry and spoken word is an extremely important tool for storytelling and for healing. Writing allows you to reflect on events, process feelings and emotions, both negative and positive, and to communicate your narratives, perspectives, and thoughts. Writing is a very therapeutic practice and can be used to create dialogue with others as well as with yourself. Poetry and spoken word can be used to communicate complex thoughts, ideas, and emotions in a more free, abstract, and open medium. While it may be difficult for young people to talk about issues such as mental health, trauma, loss, or bereavement, young people may find it easier to convey these ideas and thoughts into a poem. A poem is a vessel with which emotions, perspectives, perceptions, and feelings can be carried, externalized, and made into something artistic and tangible. Stories matter, and the stories, lived experiences, thoughts, and challenges of young people must be celebrated, heard, and given space to exist. Some ways to engage young people with poetry and spoken word include guided writing prompts. Prompts may be used to direct people's thinking and writing along a specific theme or idea. For instance, if a prompt seeks to tease out thoughts and ideas about identity or what it means to be a young person, you may ask, what does it feel to be you, to be young, to be in your shoes? Similarly, other questions and prompts may invite the group to consider a singular word or theme, such as anger, love, or fun, and gauge what these words evoke in the young people and what associations and ideas come to mind. Introducing young people to writing in this way can be a great way to begin a creative journey which starts with simply picking up a pen, using your voice, and telling your story. Writing and performing poetry and finding your voice and sharing this with others can be an extremely powerful tool, an act of resistance, resilience, and in building confidence and self-esteem. Spoken word poetry and storytelling come hand in hand. It is about sharing your stories, finding your voice, and sharing that with others.